Alright, welcome to Grid Crawler Steve. This series of videos is me reading a comic book to you all. Now, I'm not going to read it frame for frame, panel for panel, but just kind of highlight some of the, the key panels within the story. The comics I read are going to be Sword and Sorcery, Conan, Cull, maybe some Red Sonja. But to start things off, I'm actually going to start this series of videos with a bit of a twist. It's going to be Avengers 257. Avengers 257. This is not Sword and Sorcery, but great comic book I picked up over the weekend. I want to share it with you all. Let me take it out of the bag there. It's not Sword and Sorcery, but it is the Savage Land, and it is Ka-Zar. So, some fantasy, I'd say, not necessarily Sword and Sorcery. Sword and Sorcery has that kind of more of a barbarian flair to it. It's usually steel versus magic, right? Brawn versus the intellect. That's not what we see in any of the Ka-Zar stories per se, but it's pretty close. So yeah, let's take a look at this amazing comic. It is a great comic. It's fantastic. Let me quickly pull up some information though about the comic. Let's see, what are we looking at here? Oh my goodness, my notes are buried. My apologies for the delay. Okay, this comic was published July 1st, 1985. Roger Stern is the writer. I don't know who that is. Penciler's John Buscema. I definitely know John Buscema's work. Inker's Tom Palmer. Again, not too sure about that. Not too sure about the inker. Roger Stern, I think he did a bunch of Avengers stuff. I'm not a big Avengers fan. I'm a huge Ka-Zar fan, though. Alright, so this comic, what's important about this comic is it features the first appearance of Nebula. Pretty awesome. The main story arc is called Holocaust in the Savage Land, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. And the story features Captain Marvel and her encounter with Nebula. But we also have a Savage Land showdown. Ka-Zar and Zabu tackle Terminus. And the Avengers and Ka-Zar come together to battle Terminus. I won't tell you the outcome yet. We'll see the outcome of that battle. All right, page 1. Yes, Reese's. Love it. Love the Reese's peanut butter. Oh, are those peanut butter cups? No, those are the Reese's Pieces. Awesome. Love it. So here we got Ka-Zar, and I want to talk really quickly about the significance of this issue for Ka-Zar. Ka-Zar ended in 1984, issue 34. I can't remember which month. Basically 1984. I think it was like summer of 84. This comic is 1985. It really serves as a Ka-Zar issue 35, and I'll show you why in a moment. But we got Ka-Zar waking up to Captain America. And Terminus is actually, in the previous issue, Terminus has kind of thrown Ka-Zar to the ground. He's knocked out cold. Zabu tries to wake him up. Captain America does the job. And Ka-Zar's surprised to see Captain America and the rest of the Avengers. We got Hercules here, Captain America, Black Knight, and Wasp. And right away, Terminus makes his entry. You run from Terminus, he says. My apologies. That's the flashback. Yeah, sorry. My apologies. That's a flashback, and that's why Ka-Zar got knocked out. So what's Terminus doing in the Savage Land? He's looking for technology. So I don't really know Terminus very well. Let me pull that down. I got a bit of a shadow there. I don't really know Terminus too well, but I'm guessing he probably scours planets looking for a variety of technologies. So he's in the Savage Land. He's going after Savage Land technology. This is one of the devices that keep the Savage Land protected from the Antarctic cold. That's why the Savage Land is tropical and is located in the Antarctic. Awesome pose of Ka-Zar here. That's a very iconic picture. I've seen that one before of Ka-Zar. It's pretty wild. Really nice artwork. Ka-Zar says, let's go, Avengers. We need to stop. We need to stop Terminus before it is too late. And so suddenly our story shifts and we see Firefox, another member of the Avengers. He is heading over to Ka-Zar and Shanna's house in the Savage Land. And this is what's important. This is what kind of makes this a Ka-Zar the Savage issue fit 35 in my mind. Shanna's pregnant, and we know she becomes pregnant in the later issues of Ka-Zar the Savage, and Ka-Zar builds her a house as a result. Obviously, Ka-Zar has a hard time with her pregnancy, wasn't sure he's going to stick around. It's kind of a weird story, but at the end of the day, he sticks around, builds her a house. This is a continuation of that story. Pretty awesome. Terminus comes in, and oh man, he's going to step on that house, and Firefox saves the day. I don't understand. Shanna's pregnant. She could take care of herself, but nope, we need to have Firefox come in and save the day. You know, Terminus not too happy, flings or plinks Firefox away, fram into the trees he goes. And with Firefox out of the way, Terminus decides, let's keep moving here, and he's gonna walk right through this mountain. Now, that mountain exposes him to a new area of the Savage Land that hadn't been explored called Pangea. This is actually pretty important in the Savage Land lore. It's important because future issues of Ka-Zar, I believe like Ka-Zar 1997, some of the later Ka-Zar runs has Ka-Zar going through this tunnel, and he references the fact that this tunnel was borrowed by Terminus. So this is a really important panel for Savage Land's history, for Ka-Zar lore. Alright, so Terminus is going to continue his search for more of the technology, and now we pan over to a distant planet, a starship actually, called Sanctuary 2, and Monica Rambeau is being held captive. She's lost her powers, and, well, they believe she's lost her powers. But enter Nebula. So that's her first appearance right there, her first panel. Nebula's not too sure. Nebula's actually in control of this ship, not these minions, right? The minions are trying to control Monica Rambeau. They think she's lost her power. Nebula, not too sure about that. And so decides to zap her really quick, zap Captain Marvel, and lo and behold, yes, Captain Marvel is fine. She did use her powers. She was lying this whole time. So Nebula knew it all along. Captain Marvel kind of has a little bit of respect for Nebula, saying, you figured out my trick all along. But in the end of the day, Captain Marvel is still being held captive. Now, I'm a little confused by that whole storyline. I think that's about all we're going to see on that story. It's going to continue on later Avengers issues. I'm not too sure why Captain Marvel is stuck on this starship. I don't know what led her there, and I don't know why she can't just use her powers to kind of take off, right? But hey, that's probably going to be answered in further issues of Avengers. Okay, back to Savage Lands. So Ka-Zar, rushing back, following Terminus's trail, sees his house in shambles and screams out for Shanna, a very sunburnt Shanna, I might add. She's really, I don't understand. I think the printer press had some issues there. I don't know, because Ka-Zar is looking okay, everyone else, but like, man, she comes through pretty tan there. Yes, I'm fine, right? Baby is fine, everything's okay. Ka-Zar says, I need to develop a plan to find Terminus, to track Terminus into Pangea. But the Avengers, Wasp specifically, is saying, you know what, Ka-Zar, you got a pregnant wife here, you better stay. Why don't you stick around? We'll take care of this. So over to Terminus. What's he up to? He's still looking for that technology and pretty much destroying everything in his path. He's got some kind of crazy, like, I don't know what that is. It's like a gas, a noxious gas, a heated gas, I believe, right? And what's happening here is it wipes out everything in its path. So these guys here, this is really cool. But this is Lord Tip. And I can't remember the name of these birdmen, the birdmen of the Savage Land. I can't remember their names right now. I'm not going to look it up. Usually I take a small pause and kind of look things up, but we'll just call them the birdmen of the Savage Land. These guys are in Ka-Zar the Savage, the earlier run. In fact, I think I have a hand. Yes, I have a. Yeah, I've got actually this guy right here. Yes, this guy right here. I've got him drawn by Brent Anderson in a full page. I've got a full completed page. Unfortunately, it's on my wall behind me. Ka-Zar issue 2, and I think it's page 12. Page 12, I'm looking at it now. But yeah, I got a picture of this guy drawn by Brent Anderson, which is Lord Tip. In the earlier Ka-Zar issues, he's not Lord Tip at all. He's just a kind of one of the many birdmen of the Savage Land, but eventually he becomes Lord of the Realm. But not so good. What the devil, Tip says, and there's Terminus, and check this out. Terminus wipes out Tip and his comrades. So with that heated gas, I don't know, we see them perish. That could be it. That may be a true death. I thought I read somewhere that these bird people do get wiped out. Although the latest Ka-Zar run, never mind. I was about to say the latest Ka-Zar run features them again. That's not true. The latest, I guess we'll call it almost like a Ka-Zar run is Rogue and the Savage Land. It's released right now in 2025, but that's a flashback. That's a flashback of a story from the 80s, which features Rogue's like undocumented trip to the Savage Land and what happened between her and Magneto. Inside that story, we do see the bird people, but that is a flashback. So yeah, that may be a true death. Off the Avengers go. We have Black Knight tracking Terminus. Enough is enough. We need to take this guy down. He's causing havoc to the Savage Land, and let the battle commence. Black Knight, I guess, ejects himself. Yes, he does. Ejection right there. Right there is ejection. I'll try to use my shadow. There we go. And he ejects himself. Off he goes. Boom. And lands on Terminus, of course. And it's his blade that is powerful enough to cut through the shell, and off the hand goes off. Down on the ground, we got a crash landing here. Down on the ground, Hercules says, "We need to help. We need to help the Black Knight." So what does Firefox do? Grabs onto Hercules and throws him up towards Terminus. An interesting move by Firefox and Hercules, and Hercules is able to penetrate the shell of Terminus, goes right through the center of his body. As Terminus falls, we see his shell destroyed, exposing who Terminus is, or what Terminus is on the inside. Pretty cool. That's a reveal, right? I think until now, we all thought Terminus was this like robotic, kind of 150-foot tall, towering giant. Turns out he's this smaller, I don't know, Jabba the Hutt looking thing. Pretty cool. In the final panels, have Terminus perish in the Savage Land. Now, why is the snow here? Right? Savage Land is supposed to be protected by the Antarctic. The reason the snow is there is Terminus has been taking those weather control devices. So the Antarctic weather is able to come into Savage Land and cause a lot of damage. So we're seeing Pangea specifically in Savage Land get really kind of, destroyed by Terminus. The bird people, I do believe that is a true death. I don't think we see them ever again in Marvel Comics. First appearance of Nebula. It's a great comic. Again, I think it's Ka-Zar the Savage 35. I will seek out, let's see here, what do we got here? Yeah, I'm going to seek out 256 and 258. 258 and 256 both take place in the Savage Land. So I'd like to see in 258 especially what happens to Savage Land. Are they able to kind of recover from the damage that Terminus has caused? Okay. That is it for me. That is kind of a look of Avengers 257. I hope you enjoyed it.